Hello and welcome to the Trade Ideas Market Recap for Friday, February the 13th. My name is Barry Enerson. I'm the moderator of the trading room. This is the address to get in, and you can log in with your Facebook or your Twitter account. Well, so much for it being a sleepy Friday on the day before a long weekend. Today was extremely exciting. I think the room did very well. We had a couple of real monster trades. I'm going to go over all my trades, but I definitely want to spend a little more time on this one, this SGNL. And this is a huge shout out to Boiler John, who brought this to the room's attention. He actually asked my opinion of it when it was right here. All right. And, when I looked at it, I said, wow, too bad we didn't get it here. And it was starting to pull back. And this is the VWAP right there. This blue line right here is a VWAP. And you can see how it was touching it. Now, this is 5 minute candles, but it was sort of, it was hugging this VWAP pretty well. And but I didn't like it because it didn't have that much volume. For a stock at that point, it was up over, probably $1.50 or so and a big percentage up. It only had about maybe, I don't know, 400,000 shares it traded. And, for me, I couldn't understand it for a stock like that, up so much. Why so little volume? Now, checking a little bit later, I did find out that according to one source anyway, that the outstanding shares are only 4 million and the float was only 850,000. So, I mean, this is what can happen then on stocks with it's a ridiculously low float. And, once they get into favor, look out. So why do we think, you know what? I don't even know what the news is on this stock today. But check, this is the healthcare sector, diagnostics and research. Let me just bring up Gene. Healthcare sector, diagnostics and research. And if you haven't seen the videos in the last couple of days, this is the daily chart for Gene, and here, boom, up and then up here. I mean, we're talking about a stock that was $1.40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So say 2 weeks ago, and it's now at 7.97. Or actually, is that right? Yeah, I guess it's 7.97 right now. So this is stock has certainly captured a lot of people's attention, and even 3 days ago, I mean, it was only 353, so it's doubled. So I think that what happened, and again, I have no idea what the news was, but this captured people's attention too. Here's another stock in the same sector, so all of a sudden people started piling into it, and I think when you start to see this would have probably got on some people's radars right here, and then people just started piling into it. Now, again, I didn't like the stock because it had hardly any volume, and when he brought it to my attention, I was kind of dismissing it, but I watched it as it was hugging the VWAP, and so, you know, as it really started to roar, I thought, okay, you know what, this is going to be one of those momentum stocks, and so I decided to take the trade, and let me just get this a little bit better. I actually had to do it twice. I took the trade at, it's hard to see here, but I'm going to, this is at 415 and I'm sorry, 411. I got into the trade right here. Now it popped up, but it came right back down and I got out of this trade at 407. Okay. Um, and so I took a little loss on it, but I was watching it again. It was sort of hugging the VWAP. It went below it. And then as it went through four again, I decided, okay, I think maybe now you see how these candles have tightened a little bit. All these four candles had tightened. And then all of a sudden, we get a little bit more volume here on this bar compared to this one. And so I thought, okay, I'm taking the trade. And so I got in at 425, exited at 487 for half, and took out a little bit more at 536. Again, this little game I'm playing with myself to make a dollar. I have to stop this really because what difference does it make whether I make a dollar or 98 cents or whatever on a trade? But I got it at 536 from 425, so that's $1.11, and then I exited the balance at 526. So a tremendous trade. Thank you very much to Boiler John for pointing that out to the room. I know a lot of people took the trade. And now, I will certainly watch this on Tuesday. I say it's a market holiday on Monday. Certainly watch this to see if it's going to have another day. But it looks like it may be done for a while anyway. Now, Gene was the other one. you know. Let's type a little bit better. So if we look at Gene and we go back to yesterday, and there's the high of 769 yesterday. It's high. So I mentioned that if Gene could get over that high, I would be interested in it again. And so here's where it opened. A little bit light volume, and then it just picked up, really picked up. And I actually was I'd say a little bit premature on it. I got in at 759. I just look at, this volume looked like it was just going to continue and it was going to break through that what did I say, 769 or whatever it was, the high. And so I took the trade maybe a touch premature, but it worked out really well. I got 759. I took out half here at 830. And then as this came down, the other half at 810. Now if I'd waited a little bit, I would have had even more. My goodness, 942. But in fact, I didn't know it went up that high. I'm surprised. Anyway, there's a lot going on in the room today, but I'm happy enough to take this trade the way I did. Again, when this started happening, you never know. It could just completely and utterly collapse, and I would have hated to have it go below my buy. So those are two really good trades. Now here's another nice one. It was a little more dicey. This was Red Robin, and let me just get the candles a little bit better here. Red Robin. Now this was one that was beaten up, and it's amazing. I mean, this is up 47 cents now, but at one point, here's where it closed. Here's where it closed yesterday at $78, and look, it hit all the way down to, excuse me, 71.32. What a bounce it's at. I mean, that's like a $7 swing, and now it's so it was way in the negative at the very beginning, and so I was watching it right here. You see how these a little bit of a consolidation right here, and then the pop up. Now the problem with this one is that when I was watching it here, the spread between the bid and the ask was crazy. It was like 50 cents, 70 cents, 80 cents. Really, really tough to swallow. But on this candle here, I just thought, you know what? It's got some good momentum. So I kind of closed my eyes. The spread at this point was, as I said in the room, was only 25 cents. So I took the trade at 75.61 right here, and I exited half at 70. Literally, I was looking for that bid, and I'm being a little crazy, trying to get a dollar. But at 76.61, I took out half, and then I took out the rest of it right here at 75.83 as it came down. Now you can see that it just had another tremendous rise up, and now it's coming back down, and it's all chopping around here. But quite a volatile stock today, and you expect that when you have stocks with large spreads, wide spreads. These are the types so that you have to take fewer shares. You want to get into these type sort of plays, you have to take weight, you have to take fewer shares you would normally take, because the minute you buy it, you're already down. I mean, your count is because your count usually always looks at the bid, and the bid, if it's 25 or 30 or 50 cents below your buy price, it's going to show a loss immediately. And you don't want to, take too many shares. Now the other exciting one, and this is one I kind of blew. This is MX, and MX. Look at this one. Now this really got killed, and I think here is where it closed on. Just a minute now. Yeah, here's where it closed yesterday at $15. All right. And I think the low in the pre-market was, I guess, right down here, 15,812. So this was like almost cut in half for a stock like this. And I think what happened is they had to restate earnings or something from, oh, in fact, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. This was down to 560. So from 15 down to 5. I mean, that's unbelievable. And again, I think they had to restate earnings for 3 or 4 years, and of course the market hates that. Looking at whether shenanigans or whatever for the reason of having to do that, but nonetheless. All these stocks, it doesn't matter how bad the news is, they generally always have some kind of a bounce in them. And now this was kind of whippy around, And look at this tail. I went up to this is at 9:30 when the market opened, and it went all the way up to $8 from 640, and then it came right back down, and now we started watching it. Now I took this trade twice. The first time I got in right here at 713, and on this candle, the same candle, I exited at $7. I just didn't want to take the chance that the bloom was off. What got me excited was this tail. It was this up here, thinking, well, maybe it can regain at least half of that. But I got back in when it came back down, and then it popped back up again, and I took the trade again at 725. And excuse me, I basically chickened out. I got out at 7:45, and right after that, it got up to it went over $8. So that's why I said it was a little disappointing for me that I got out. Actually, I got out right here. This is where I got out on this candle as it started coming down. Wasn't this one, but on this one as it started coming down, it looked like it was just going to give it up again. So I didn't want to take the chance. So I didn't make very much on this one, but it was exciting. I know a lot of people in the room did make some money on that one. Now, MOH was sort of an interesting one. Disappointing. Oh shoot, I haven't got it marked up either. Well, you have to trust me on this one. I got in at 60.24. So just a minute. Okay, so I've marked this up again. Or for the first time. So here's where I got into the trade. It was 60.24. Now, this was a lifetime high alert, but it also, I noticed that when I was looking at one of my websites, the guidance was something like 460 and the estimate was 250 or something to that effect. And I just thought, well, this has to really rocket today because I mean, when the guidance is so much more than what the estimate was, you would think it would really rock. But for whatever reason, it didn't. And maybe I'm just not reading it correctly, but I decided to take the trade anyway. I say when it broke through 60, that was a lifetime high alert, and it pulled back, and then when it held the 60, it decided, okay, it looks like it'll go up from here. Now this took a while. You see how it just really did nothing for quite a while, and then all of a sudden this volume came in. Now look at this candle, and here's the volume. And I actually said in the room, well, let's see if this volume means anything, because at the beginning it didn't. This candle didn't move at all. In fact, it almost like a little doji. And then the next 5 minute candle, it gave me what I was looking for, but it just didn't continue. And so I got out at 60.50, and I didn't mark it up, but the other one was at 60.44, right around here. It just didn't seem to want to break the whole number or the 50-cent mark. And let's see, DVA was another beaten up stock. Gosh, I haven't marked this one up. I'm really sorry. You know what? I'm not going to do it. I got in at 72.25 and I exited at 72.56 and 72.41. The reason I don't know why I just forgotten to mark. So much was going on today, but it was beaten up. It was coming down, and so I did take this trade. And the only other one I took at the very end of the day, let's see if yeah, FET. Um, I actually took this trade earlier, and again, I'm sorry, I didn't mark any of these up. That's a bit of a lapse for me. I usually mark everything up, but I took the trade. I think it was around here, and I exited for no gain. But I kept watching it. You see how I had a lot of consolidation right here, a little pop, a little consolidation here, and right here. I took the trade at 1857 as I posted in the room, and exited at 1870. I think it was 1870 or 71. Right, I basically told the room I was going to do a scalp on this one towards the end of the day. But this is a nice little pattern here, and then on the pop, just take it over the high of this and see what happens. And your stop is just really the low here, so you got a really tight stop. Anyway, I am bushed. A lot of trading today and a lot of trading all week, but it was a great day for those two stocks, SGNL. I would definitely watch this one next week to see if there's any continuation in it. And even Gene, I mean, Gene, the machine, well, it's giving it up a little bit, but you never know. You just never know. And this is a really interesting one because if I go to the daily chart, you're going to see that right here it did a 1-for-5 reverse split, and that usually is the death knell of a stock, and in fact after it went down, and I'm sure people were going, yeah, right, okay. But this is one of the ones that one of the very, very few ones that I've seen that have worked. Now whether it works for a year, I don't know, but it certainly worked in the short term. And usually when a company does a reverse split, they're trying to reduce the number of shares. Usually it's a listing thing. Maybe I don't really know if they were under a dollar or looking like they were going to go under a dollar. A lot of times, a stock has to have a dollar to be listed on, certainly on NASDAQ. So I don't know why they did it, but this one certainly worked. But I'm sure, people when they see this, they get very skeptical about a rise like this, and and I'm sure this is when this started coming down. I'm sure everybody thought it was just going to keep collapsing, but it certainly still has legs. Anyway, that's it. A little long-winded, sorry about that, but there's a lot to talk about. And let me just bring back the cover page. Here's the address to get in. You log in with your Facebook or Twitter account, and remember the markets are closed on Monday, so we'll see you on Tuesday.